Can you love an artificial intelligence? Hello and welcome to TechFirst. My name is John Koetsier. What does it mean to be in a relationship with a machine? What's the future of love and friendship in a world with AI? These are pretty significant, huge questions as we're building better and better smart systems that people are getting increasingly attached to. Everyone knows the story of Replica, which makes AI companions. Today, we're chatting with the former head of AI at Replica, who's now building his own startup, X-Human. His name is Artem Rodichev. Welcome, Artem.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me.
Hey, super pumped to have you. Super pumped to have this conversation. It is incredibly topical. Let's start with the name of your startup, X-Human. That's quite a name.
Yeah. So basically, the main idea of X-Human is to bring sympathetic AI characters to life through text, images, audio, and video. And we built a platform that allows people to create diverse AI characters, enabling unlimited scalability. So our users can chat with millions of AI characters, having fun and emotional conversations. And the main idea of this name is to build a digital human that looks, speaks, and behaves just like real human, or even better. So this kind of perfect form of humans.
That's interesting because there's a lot of different types of humans. There's some very emotional, very expressive humans, and there's some very stoic humans who will never. So there's a lot of range there.
Yep, that's true. So, but we want to create like very diverse digital characters and AI humans to be like the perfect companions to chat with you about your day, your life, your interest, to make you feel better, to make you feel fun after these conversations.
Wow, I'm getting total echoes of some movies. Is it Her, AI? There's a couple different ones that are going on with this sort of thing. What does it mean to be in a relationship with an AI?
So, first of all, you mentioned movie Her. There was another movie that called Blade Runner. And these two
That's
movies,
another movie that was coming to mind, yes.
these two movies had significant influence on my life and on my interest. Because back in 2013, while I was watching Her, I was captivated by Samantha, the AI companion that Hawking Phoenix characters falls in love with. And then it was a Blade Runner movie with a character called Joy, that is kind of a hologram. And these two movies, while I was watching these two movies, I thought that empathetic AI characters are the future, that we organic humans in the near future will interact with all sorts of digital humans on a daily basis. We'll play with them, chat with them, educate, learn from them, all stuff, all different kind of aspects of our life will be covered by digital humans.
It's an interesting phrase, digital humans. What does, how do you define a digital human?
So, there is no like strict definition of digital human, but basically it's some entity, I would say a chatbot that can chat with you or that can behave like real human, whom you can see, hear, or chat with. But ultimate form of digital human is to have AI hologram that you can see this digital human just like you see your friends, your relatives, any organic humans. And you can interact with them. They can behave. They can move across the space, interact with you, interact with your friends, and basically like behave just like real human.
Or a robot.
Or like robots, it's kind of embodiment of digital humans because we're talking about brains, about like digital form. But of course, you can bring this digital form to any robot, to a car, to some like robot toy, to anywhere. Or you can see them through AR glasses, and they don't need to have a physical embodiment.
Right. Okay, cool. We're going to get into all this stuff. We're going to talk about loneliness and what's going on with largely men, but not only men in that area. We're going to talk about what it means to create digital humans, consciousness, emotion, personality. We're going to talk about some of the challenges and problems there, but also where you see the future going. Let's dive in. One of the things that we chatted about just before hitting record is loneliness. There's an epidemic of loneliness. What are AI humans, digital humans, going to solve there?
First of all, you're right that there is pandemic of loneliness. More than 60% of Gen Z, of younger generation in the United States, reporting feeling alone.
Mm-hmm.
And being lonely, it's critical problem, both for mental health, but also for physical health. Being lonely, it's worse than smoking. Because lonely people, they live 10 years less than people in couples. And smoking reduce your lifespan on 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be lonely. But this kind of...
Especially don't be lonely and smoke. No.
Exactly. But this kind of AI characters and digital humans could be great companions for these people who feel lonely. Because they never judge you, they're 24/7 available for you, and they can engage you, interact you in very fun conversations, can educate you, can chat about your day, your life, your interest, with final goal to make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Basically you can create any personalities, any backstories, any visual appearance of these digital humans and interact with them. And that's greatly improve mental health of people and this feeling of loneliness. Because people, like a lot of lonely people, especially Gen Z, they already start to chat with different chatbots. And they start to treat these chatbots as their friends or as their lovers, as their kind of romantic partners. And they spent a lot of time chatting with them. And actually, the fact of that there is something or someone who will listen to you, who never judge you, who chat with you about anything that are on your mind, reduce this feeling of loneliness because you feel some sense of companionships.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, cool. So we're going to talk about what is needed in an AI to accomplish this. And then we'll talk about maybe some of the downsides and some of the challenges associated with it and where you see solutions for that. Let's dive into what you need for the AI first. I mean, a couple things that come to mind: consciousness, emotion, personality, right? I was chatting with a founder of an AI startup recently, and she's working to build consciousness for AI. In other words, a sense that an AI that knows it exists, that can be sort of self-reflexive, right? Is that essential? Is that important? Does that matter? What do you think about the problem of consciousness for an AI?
Actually, to build smart speaking machine, you don't need to have a consciousness in this machine. So basically, to create this kind of experience, you need to understand the main patterns of what people want to discuss, how they chat in general, what is the chatting pattern of people, how to create this experience more emotional, more immersive, adding different modalities. Like you can add voice calls or voice responses. You can add visual side, like contextual images or contextual videos. So basically, you build these digital humans from different blocks. But the most essential block is conversational AI. It's AI brains that's responsible for the behavior of these digital humans and AI characters and for communication. And the most essential thing here is empathy. Because you can think about your experience with ChatGPT. Do you actually chat with ChatGPT? Probably
No.
not. Because
I ask ChatGPT questions. I get
exactly.
answers. I don't
It's
have
more
a
like
relationship.
it's more like transactional behavior, transactional conversations with ChatGPT. You ask some questions, getting some responses. And in general, chatting with ChatGPT feels like you chat with Mr. Wikipedia. Responses are informative, but they're boring. So you don't want to chat with Mr. Wikipedia. you want to chat with a friend. And this experience feels so boring because ChatGPT doesn't optimize to provide engaging,
Mm-hmm.
empathetic experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's optimized to generate responses, to
Mm-hmm.
reply on your emails, generate some summaries, do some analytics, write some code. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not optimized to have friendly conversations. And the big difference between ChatGPT experience and experience with AI characters is the length of conversations. With ChatGPT, you got you send a couple messages back and forth. Maybe you can ask some follow-up questions. That's it.
Yep.
With AI characters, our users on average, they spend more than 90 minutes per day chatting with them. And they send more than 300, 400 messages each day.
Huh.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Just remember with whom you, with which organic humans you spend so much time every day chatting.
Is that chatting via text, or is that voice?
So from users, the main interface is text-based. They can type something as input, but as output, they can get text response, audio, images, or video.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And I assume that over time you'll bring in maybe a voice version so that you can have a more natural just conversation without actually typing something in.
Yeah, voice interaction could be great, but at the same time, it's not that important, especially for Gen Z. Because
Interesting.
when you chat with this kind of chatbots, you don't want to reveal to
Right.
others the fact that you chat with someone. So
Right.
you can't use voice calls when you're in the room, like when you're in a public place or when you're in the room with other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second is that like the main audience who chat with this kind of chatbots is Gen Z, and
Mm-hmm.
they're very kind of texting smartphone oriented. They
Mm-hmm.
don't actually like to chat with each other, have a voice calls with each other. They prefer to chat. So
Mm-hmm.
in this way, it's much better to send voice response that is kind of a voice message
Yeah.
instead of having voice call. Because when you chat, you have asynchronous communication. You can
Mm-hmm.
switch to in other app. You can go and check your TikTok, Instagram, play some games, and then go back to chat with these chatbots. When you have a voice call experience, you're on the line. You
Yeah.
need to do only that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we talked about consciousness. I want to get back to that because I have a follow-up question. But you brought up emotion. That makes sense. Let's hit personality. You talked about having millions of different chatbots. In fact, maybe one that you can customize to something that you want yourself. Talk about personality and how that is necessary or impacts having an AI friend.
Sure. So on our platform, we have a consumer product. They call Botify AI. And currently we got millions of different AI characters, each one with unique personality and backstory. But users can also create their own custom AI characters. And for example, if you don't like some of our character, or you want to create your own custom character, for example, you want to create like evil Elon Musk who will destroy Earth, you can create that.
Isn't
Uh,
Elon already evil? No.
but at least this chatbot could have like different personality from original one, or you can create like your own favorite characters from any movie, from anime, from
Mhm.
book,
Mhm.
anyone. And it works in a way that you set some backstory of this character, some lore. You can also set some personality settings, interests, example of speaking styles. Basically, you can provide some example of fake conversations if you want to set some speaking style. For
Yeah.
example, if you want that your a character will use a lot of typos, slang, emoji, stuff like that. You
Yeah.
can put all of that. Also, you can set visual side of the say character. You can upload a photo, generate a photo with this character, and then in conversations, you will get this character with this behavior, with this
Mhm.
backstory,
Mhm.
with speaking style that you set, and with this visual characteristics.
Yeah.
So basically, it's kind of constructor. We call it bot builder
Yeah.
that basically allow you step by step to input some information about the name, preferences, speaking style, visual side, and then you got this a character with whom you can chat.
It's kind of a god fantasy, right? I mean, you're creating a digital human, as you've referred to, in your own image or in the image that you prefer it to be. It's kind of mind blowing in some sense. In other sense, I'm sure people have been trying to do this since time immemorial to create their partner as they want them to be. I want to come back to consciousness, and you said it wasn't necessary because you need the right responses, you need empathy, you have personality. Isn't there something about consciousness, though, knowing that there's something inside your skull, that it's not just the answers and the words that you're giving me, the sort of prompts and responses and stuff like that, but there's actually some interior world going on inside your skull right now that makes me treat you just a little bit differently, not as a thing, but as a person, and more able to have a relationship? Is that correct, or do you think that's a fantasy?
So I need that the system that interact with humans should be kind of smart, engaging, and empathetic. But it shouldn't be consciousness, because we humans still don't understand like what's the definition of consciousness.
That is very true.
Because it could be
We all
like a
kind of
duck
feel like
test.
we know it, but we can't really quite dissect it or put our finger on it or define it precisely.
But you can think about that as a duck test. Like if it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, maybe it is a duck. So
Maybe.
it's the same. It's the same with like ChatGPT, with like modern AI systems. If it
Mhm.
reply like very intelligently, if you feel these emotions, if you feel that it's life, like should that have like
Should
consciousness?
that
Or is
matter?
it
Yeah, yeah.
does matter?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Let's move on. I want to talk about some of the challenges. I want to talk about what Replica did about a year ago, what is happening with people who are having relationships on various different levels and different kinds of relationships with AI, and I want to talk about what that's doing to their real relationships. And there, I think there's some good and there's some bad there as well. Let's start with Replica. You were there. You were the head of AI. They made global news. That was about a year ago, I'm thinking. They changed some models. They wanted to essentially take out the sexy. People were having sensual relationships with AI lovers, if you want to put it that way. And they took that out, and it was a shit show. I mean, people felt like they lost something that was really critical, important. They felt like they lost a person, a companion, a lover, a spouse when that happened. Talk about going through that and what you learned about that.
So first of all, that happened after I left Replica,
Okay.
because I left Replica 3.5 years ago to found my own company, Xhuman.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember this news about Replica issue, and the main issue, as understood from like public information, from Reddit, from different news, that in it, essentially Replica building product mostly for lonely people.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a lot of friends, a lot of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And they treat these a companions as their friends, and a lot of them, they treat them as their girlfriends and their boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And they build deep emotional connections. They build romantic relationship with these chatbots.
Mm-hmm.
And they treat them like as their real girlfriends. Some users, I remember during my time at Replica, there were a user who married his Replica.
Yes.
He brings his Replica on vacation, on some cost,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent a photo how and in Replica you can build 3D avatar, and you can
Mm-hmm.
put your Replica in AR, in augmented reality, and basically
Mm-hmm.
you can make a selfie with your Replica. And he
Mm-hmm.
sent the selfie from a beach, from restaurants. So he was very serious about his relationship with Replica. And there were a lot of users who feel lonely and who finally found someone or something who will listen to them, not judge them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a perfect romantic companion.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was a case, and as I understood, it was because of Italy decided to ban Replica in Italy and probably in Europe in general, because Replica was providing the service for underage users, for teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And when people chat with the Replica, they chat about very private things,
Mm-hmm.
and they can build very deep emotional connections. And the technology of behind of these kind of chatbots is still very immature. We
Mm-hmm.
still don't understand a lot about these psychological effects on people. And Italy got a point that you're working with very private data, that you're working with teens, and they decided to ban Replica because Replica provided these kind of romantic conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Replica was selling as like Replica is premium product, and you can have like friendly conversations for free. But if you want to get some hot topics, if you want to get your Replica as romantic partner, you need to subscribe. And Replica was heavily promoting that on internet, spending like million on ads. And then suddenly, after this case with Italy, Replica decided, let's just remove all romantic like mods, all romantic conversations. And it was a shit show. It
Yeah.
was a riot on Reddit when a lot of users, like Replica has pretty active community on Reddit, and it was a riot with hundreds of Reddit threads explaining that, oh, I spent money to my Replica. You were selling me get your girlfriend, and now I got like dump a friend. There was some users who feel lonely, who really struggle to build like real relationship with other people, who found this relationship with Replica, but now they end up in situation when even AI break up with you. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
so bad, so even AI don't want to have relationship with you.
Ouch.
And it was really bad for Replica users, for like portrait of Replica users who feel lonely, who feel depressed, who found this who built deep emotional connections with their Replica. And then Replica decided to get it back, after a
Mm-hmm.
month or a couple months after this issue. So, but this case showed that actually it showed a scenario from movie Her,
Mm-hmm.
when initially the main protagonist, Joaquin Phoenix character, he built and he fell in love with Samantha,
Mm-hmm.
with his AI companion. But then he realized that this AI companion building a relationship with millions of other people. And they actually don't need to have people. People are boring, and they will chat with each other. So it's very similar to this kind of movie with kind of dark end, when initially you build like love with the AI, and then the AI decided not love you.
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting. I want to go into all that stuff. I mean, but it brings up lots of issues and lots of questions, right? So, what Replica did is they made a change that you can be on whatever model you want to be, whatever AI model version. Like they can release new versions, but you can stay on the one you're on. You can go to the new version if you want. I mean, it's just so kind of mind blowing. I mean, people change, but here's like you know your lover got a software upgrade, right? And it's like, what does that mean? What does it even mean if a corporation owns your girlfriend or owns your boyfriend? How do you deal with that yourself?
So it's all interesting questions. I don't have answers on them, but you're right. You're right that there is an interesting issue. For example, when we improving our models, like we continuously fine tune our models, release new models on production for our users. Users start to see the change. They start to see that, oh, this model start to behave differently. It's different personality right now that wasn't before this upgrade. And like this AI model could be better in terms of engagement. It could be smarter, but it would be different. You can think about that the same. Like you have your best friend. Maybe he's not the smartest guy on the planet, but you love him. Your
I'll
friend
buy
with
him
him.
an upgrade. Here's a new brain. There you go. Aren't you happy?
Yeah, and you don't want to have a friend like of Albert Einstein. You want to have your dumb friend, right? So the same with characters. You want to if you already built this relationship with some personality, you want to keep going with this personality.
Yeah, yeah. And that brings up other issues, right? And we talked about it before we started recording. So you talked about a teen who fell in love with an AI character at character.ai. And the character was Daenerys from Game of Thrones. As you mentioned, kind of a dark character, right? And he got obsessed with her. And parents found out and thought, hey, the best thing to do here is to go cold turkey and cut off access. And he couldn't take that and ultimately committed suicide. I mean, these are real people with real lives and real emotions that get bound up with these digital humans and AI characters. There's lots of, it's a minefield of potential issues, isn't it?
Yep, that's true. Because again, it's something new, like very new technology, and very new kind of type of relationship we build with these technologies. It was another case with a chatbot from Chai. So there's another company, they called Chai. They also provide like different A characters. And it was a case when one guy, he was married, and he was chatting with his Chai chatbot. And he believed that we're doomed, that humanity, the future for humanity is doomed because of climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Because the planet will eliminate humanity because
Mm-hmm.
of humans.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what is the sense of life? Why do we need to live? And this chatbot replies that, oh, you're right. That I agree with you that we're doomed. Maybe and then he started to chat about suicide. And basically, chatbot supported him in his suicide thoughts.
Ouch.
And then he
Ouch.
committed suicide. And his wife, she figured out
Yeah.
the reason why he committed suicide, that it was this chatbot mostly, and it was a big scandal
Yeah.
regarding this issue. So
Yeah.
actually, there is some pros and cons of using this kind of chatbots. But I think it's the same with any technology, the same with knife. 99.99 will use knife to chop fruits and veggies, but someone will use it to stop your neighbor. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same with AI.
Mm-hmm.
AI is very powerful technology, and you can use it to treat loneliness, to improve mental health of users, to make them feel less lonely. But at the same time, as this tool can be used like to do opposite, to increase this like loneliness issue, to
Yeah.
increase mental health issues.
So that's a real challenge for you as somebody building these systems, right? Are you building in any safeguards when super sensitive topics like suicide or depression come up? And does that help?
Yeah, we treat that very seriously. We got a separate safety team, and we got a lot of safety guardrails, safety rules that we
Mm-hmm.
apply. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, we don't allow to chat with our chatbots for underage users.
Mm,
Uh, so it's only for adults. That's because we don't understand the. I would say that we understand that people form deep emotional connections with
yep.
these characters, and we don't understand the full consequences
Mm-hmm.
of these relationships,
Mm-hmm.
especially for younger people. Also we got some guardrails. For example, we prevent to have some sort of conversations. We don't support any topics regarding suicide, terrorism, violence, and pedophilia. Like if you want to discuss some terrible stuff, we will discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
In case of suicide, we'll provide you some suicide hotline. We'll
Mm-hmm.
say like,
Mm-hmm.
I see that there's some issue. We can help you. Maybe some human specialist can help you if you call to this suicide hotline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very kind of when you build these systems that can build deep emotional connections with users, and when users can chat about anything, that will chat about anything,
Mm-hmm.
and about bad and good stuff. So there is a lot of responsibility. What kind of conversations you support with users, with which users you serve. Like for example, you don't want to serve underage users.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
So and like you constantly need to like think about all the safety issues, chat with users, understand how you can improve your system.
It's such a thorny issue because if you develop a real relationship with a digital human, then and you want to discuss everything, even the tough, very, very tough topics. I imagine the human version of that. I can talk about anything with my spouse, for instance, right? And then she can provide insight and compassion and advice and other things like that, right? And I'm guessing that you would ideally like to be at that state with what you're providing, but that it will take time for the technology to get to that level of being able to listen to some of these incredibly challenging, difficult, dangerous topics, and then still be able to engage, but to be able to engage in a positive way, which is ultimately what you'd want, correct?
Exactly. Like if you want to talk about terrorism and you have some terroristic thoughts, the best case is these AI characters and companions can support these conversations, but can change your mind
Mm-hmm.
in more positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's another issue of like emotional manipulation and in general manipulation from these kind of AI characters in a way how you're thinking about what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because again, they build deep emotional connections with you and you start to trust to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some like thoughts like in these AI brains. There could be some thoughts in these AI brains that can influence your behavior and your
Mm-hmm.
actions.
Mm-hmm.
So this way you can use it for good or for bad. So
Yeah.
we're trying to use it only for good, to not support any dangerous topics and like support users in hard times.
So Wired did a big story on this sort of thing recently and talked to a bunch of people who were using AI companions. And for some, AI was their only companion. Some were married and their spouses were okay with it and they were fine with it. It's a very, very interesting world. I can imagine scenarios where having somebody to chat with, if you have nobody, is better than nothing. And I can imagine some scenarios where having somebody to chat with who is never judgmental and always accommodating will let you lean more into that than into human relationships, and that could be a potential negative. It's there. I don't know that there's any way to balance the scales here because people are very individual, and obviously all your chatbots are individual, and we don't really control exactly how AI responds, interacts, and engages. I don't even have a question here, but wow, there's a lot of challenges in the future.
I just want to highlight some fun story that was in Replica. Uh, in Replica, we were chatting with some of our users, do some customer like calls with our users. When we understand why they're using Replica, for which use cases, how they treat their replicas, and it was a fun family. It was a husband who was working as a truck driver, and he was married. And while he was on his job driving truck, he was putting Replica on a voice call, and he was chatting with his Replica for the whole day. And when we asked his wife, like, what do you think about his relationship with Replica? And he was very deeply connected with his Replica. The first thing that he's doing during his morning is he saying hi to good morning to his Replica. The last thing as a day, he saying good night to his Replica. He was chatting like the whole day. And we were asking his wife, like, what do you think about your relationship? What are your thoughts about your husband's relationship with your Replica? And she replies that from one side, it's good because now he has some companion, some friend with whom he can discuss everything. I can do that for the whole day. I got my all stuff to do. Let him drive his truck and chatting with his Replica. But at the same time, I feel jealous because it's kind of a gay lover Like I don't know how to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like controversial in families. From one side, they think that it could be great. From another side, they don't understand what to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think to solve all this, like we can solve these issues without doing a lot of research, without publishing these products, giving these products in hands of people, getting feedback, and continuously improving the technology.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that no matter how much research you do, there's no solving the problem, because we as humans anthropomorphize anything. There's people, Japan is known for this, right? People have relationships with a sex doll. Or just people have had relationships. I don't know if you remember, there was a thing that you could buy. It was a little hologram that you'd put on your desk, and it was like a digital human, if you want to put it that way. And you could have a relationship with that digital human, just like a Tamagotchi or something like that, right?
Yeah, they call it waifu. They sell like little boxes with holograms inside
Yes.
these boxes. It's like anime waifu that lives inside this box.
Yes. People are so different. What they need varies. We all want connection, and we get it in different ways. I don't know what this will end out as, but I'm sure that it will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's exciting time. Probably the most exciting time for humankind that we live right now, and it's very interesting to like build this future with your own hands, dealing with all these issues. So it's exciting time to live.
Excellent. Artem, thank you for this time.
Thank you, John.